All right, what's up, dudes? Welcome back to Duty's Daggers. Glad you're here. We're going to talk about some budget knives that I've come across my table recently. Um, Pretty interesting. Let's get into it. First of all, please subscribe. Follow me on Instagram also, duties_daggers. And just a reminder, we had a live recently where a bunch of channel memberships were given away. Just a reminder to those people that were given one and to the members that were here before. The members only videos that come out every weekend are all available on my channel. You can go back and watch the old ones now that you're a member. And the new one that is for this week just came out yesterday. And there's only 9 views on it. And we have I don't know, like 20 members now. So I don't, possibly I'm thinking they don't know that it's there. I don't know. But just a reminder, it's there. If you want to go watch it, you can. If you're a member, that is. And if you're interested in watching these members-only videos, you can become a member. You can get access to those videos at the lowest tier for only $3 a month. So let's get into it. I recently was sent a few budget knives from Amazon. These are new knife brands that I hadn't heard of before. Well, all except one of them. And let's check them out. The first one here is the Remet Handfeel. Now this one, it's okay. It's very, very plain. All these knives are very affordable. This one, I believe, I can't remember exactly. It was like around $40, 45 maybe. Seems like a well-built knife. We got a flipper tab and thumb stud. Seems like a pretty good detent, decent. Thumb flick is good, nice and snappy. The flipper tab is pretty snappy too. Let's see if I can fail it. Yeah, I can fail it. Well, it's pretty good. You have to really concentrate on failing it to fail it. Drop point blade, almost a full flat grind, relatively thin behind the edge, not super thin but not super thick. Plunge grind is, it's okay. It could be better for sure. We got, G10 scales, full liners, deep carry pocket clip, inset and flat-headed screws, very good. Ergonomics is actually really good. Yeah, I don't feel any hot spots. I'm gripping it as hard as I can. Yeah, no hot spots that I feel. Action is, yeah, really not bad. Like I said, this is a well-built knife with a good detent, good lock bar access, good pocket clip. It's just very plain, It's too plain for me. This knife does not excite me. But it's a good price. We got, I believe it's D2. Does it say anywhere? It doesn't say. I'm pretty sure it's D2 though. But for the price, really not that bad. I can't think of really any complaints. It's a little sharp right here on this corner of the flipper tab. A little bit. It doesn't hurt, but you can kind of feel it. It's a kind of a pokey flipper tab as far as meaning it sticks out quite a ways. But it gives you the leverage you need to flip it out for sure. Reverse flick. Yeah, you can reverse flick it just fine. One thing I do appreciate is there's no branding on the blade. I really do appreciate that. That's nice to see. A lot of times these budget brands like to put their huge branding all over the blade. So that's nice to see that they didn't do that. Pretty smooth on the drop too. Not drop shut, but a couple shakes or one more significant shake gets it going right home. So the Remet Handfeel. There is branding on the clip. I didn't notice that. But I would rather have it on the clip than on the blade for sure. Actually, I like the pocket clip actually. Kind of low profile, and there's not much of a swoop up here, but it still goes in and out of the pocket pretty well. So I do like the clip. A little bit of jimping back here. A little bit up on the spine. Yeah, it's well built for sure. Our lockup is completely rock solid. So that's great. It's just very plain. Next, let's talk about a Gonzo. This is the first Gonzo that I've gotten. This is the FH12 in stainless steel. And I actually quite like this. It's almost like a rectangular shape here, almost a coffin shape, since it gets a little wider here at the back, and then it comes to this little bit of a point. It's a stainless steel frame lock. Nice stonewash on all the stainless. You can see that stonewash looks nice. It's a flipper only. We got a G10 backspacer and lanyard post. Very nice. Pocket clip is decent, definitely decent. I prefer these types of clips that it comes up and then flattens out here at the end instead of just swooping up to a point. I like that. They did inset the clip, but they did not use flat-headed screws. Kind of weird. I don't quite understand that. Seems like it's, you go through the trouble of insetting it, and then you don't use flat-headed screws. It's almost like you're canceling yourself out there. But, it's better than it would be if it wasn't inset, I guess. So, they almost got it. It's a flipper only. Let's flip this baby. Pretty good detent. Not like insanely snappy, but it's good. Very smooth though. Very smooth. I've seen videos of this knife broken in, and they're very smooth. I can already feel it getting smoother. Yeah, it's a little bit of a shake. It's shutting, or if you want to shake it lightly a couple times, it'll go right in. So that's cool. Yeah, the blade shape's kind of it's interesting. It's almost a straight back, but it does kind of slope down here at the tip slightly, so I believe this would be a drop point, but almost a straight back design. So a lot of belly, more belly than I typically like in my EDC knives, but it'll work. You can get to the tip. You just have to raise up a bit. The blade steel here is D2. Small branding on the lock side. And then you have the Gonzo logo there. Not a big fan of that. I wish they would either make that smaller or just take it off completely. But it's not a bad logo. The logo is fine. It's just a little big. But they do that on all their knives. The blade also has the same stonewash on it. Really good stonewash, actually. That's a nice stonewash. I like that. You could also get this knife in G10. I decided to get the stainless version. I don't know. Usually if there's an option, I like to go stainless steel. It gives you kind of a more premium feel. Not titanium, so it's not going to be as light as titanium, but you get that same kind of feel. Flipper tab is a little bit, I kind of slip off the flipper tab sometimes. I can't tell if that's because I'm accidentally putting pressure on the lock bar or if it's the flipper tab's fault. Let's see. Yeah, I think I was just on the lock bar. You got to make sure you're not pushing down. This is a really sensitive one. Some knives, or some frame locks, you can kind of put a little pressure on there and it'll still flip. And others, you really just can't even touch it. This seems to be one of those that you just need to stay off of it completely to be able to flip the knife. Lock up, rock solid. And we are centered. So yeah, this is, I think this is not bad at all. This is a very cheap knife, I think around like 30 bucks. Maybe even a little bit less. They put a filler tab on the show side where the pocket clip would go if you, were a lefty. That's awesome to see. I wish they would have used a flat-headed screw there, but, what are you going to do? The lockup seems to be in a good spot pretty early. The lock bar access is good. They carved this area out here to let you get in there. Yeah, I'm interested to try more Gonzos. I think they're, if you watch Neve's Knives, he's always raving about Gonzos, and I just never got around to trying one. But I see what he's talking about, This seems to be built very well for 30 bucks, for sure. And they have a few other designs I'd like to check out too, so you might be seeing more, a little more Gonzo on the channel possibly. Lefty, yeah, you know what? Lefty, it's easier to flip because you're not putting any pressure on the lock bar. So it is not the flipper tab's fault. It is the pressure on the lock bar that was giving me troubles. Yeah, really not a bad detent. Really not bad. Could be snappier. Really not bad though at all. Yeah, the Gonzo FH12. There you go. And lastly, the X-Took. Not sure exactly how you pronounce that. I'm saying X-Took. This one I like. This is a button lock, and there's no model that I saw on this. It's just the X-Took, I believe. I'm going to put links to all these below, so you can go check out a little more details if you want. G10 backspacer. Again, inset deep carry clip, but not flat-headed screws. Come on, guys. Let's just put some flat-headed screws in there. Again, not a bad clip. Definitely not a bad clip. Similar to the Gonzo clip, for sure. We got our flipper tab and thumb studs. The thumb studs are interesting. They're almost just round stock. You know what I mean? They're not like stepped like you typically see on a thumb stud. It's just a piece of round stock, it looks like. But they work well, for sure. I like the profile of this knife. It reminds me a little bit of a Chavez, a little bit of a CVV Conspirator as well. I like the lines of this knife. I actually really do. Also reminds me a little bit of a quiet carry drift, sort of. I like the handle, I just like it. I like the blade too. Kind of a broad blade. Feels pretty thin behind the edge too. This is kind of a thicker handled knife, and that's a good thing. It fills out my hand really nice. Very comfortable knife to grip onto. Super comfortable. Don't feel that clip. And the button action is very good. There is very, very little detent. You can see I can easily fail it with the flipper tab. The thumb studs, you don't really notice it as much because you're just kicking it out. It's fine. Flipper tab, though, you really have to kind of just give it some oomph if you want to flick it out. And if you're paying attention, you're going to flip it every time. But you can't fail it for sure. I might take this apart and kind of pull apart the spring a little bit, lengthen the spring in there that's pushing the plunge lock this way and see if that stiffens it up a little bit. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. I might try that. But, honestly, it doesn't really bother me that much. It's kind of weird because usually it really would. Something about this knife, for some reason, it's not a huge deal to me. It's very smooth, push the button, blades fall shut. The button isn't sticking up too far off the surface of the scale, so that's good. The flipper tab is comfortable. Just you have to really. The light switch works fine, I like the sounds this knife makes too. If you hold the button down, you get a little bounce. But you can also just let go at the right time and it'll, You can also push the button down and swing it out this way. I don't know, it's just kind of a fun knife to play with. It really is. That combined with the great ergonomics, you can choke up right here above the flipper tab if you want pretty comfortably. I actually like this thing. I actually am digging it. This knife is around $50, and it's in 14C28N, which is really cool. Most of these budget knives are in D2. They went with 14C. That is awesome, dude. Super awesome. Not a big fan of the bead blasted blade, but whatever. Yeah, the X-Took. Out of these three, I think I probably like the X-Took the best. Gonzo I like. But the X-Took is good, man. Look at it compared to the Chavez Scapegoat, and you will see the similarities, mostly in the handle. Check that out. Yeah, it's just a good-looking knife. Wish it had a bit more of a detent. You know, if this had a snappy detent, this would be a very great knife. So I don't know if anybody from X-Took is watching. I doubt it, but if you're watching, if there's any way that you can, make this a bit stronger, this could be a very, very good knife. This could be, a Civivi Conspirator competitor, as far as like a larger button lock kind of work knife. This could be a real competitor. So there's 3 budget knives from Amazon brands. I call them Amazon brands just because that seems to be the case. Gonzo maybe not as much, but that's primarily where I see them. So we got Remet, we got Gonzo, and we got X-Took. And that is about it. Thanks for watching, folks. I'll link all these down below, like I said. And let me know which one you like best. Let me know what you think of these babies. Please like the video before you head out. And I will see you in the next one. Adios. Peace and love.